Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. We're about to start the Richmond Rising Collaborative Stakeholder Committee meeting. We have some of the committee members on the way to the meeting, so we are gonna just let them join the meeting when they arrive. But for everyone else, just thank you for being here. Thank you for being on time. If you haven't grabbed any food, please grab some food. And we're about to start the meeting. So thank you, everyone. This is our meeting number 10, Richmond Rising Collaborative Stakeholder Committee meeting. And I'm going to start with call to order and the roll call. So project lead for grid alternatives. Present. Thank you. Project lead for groundwork Richmond. Let's record that the Groundwork Richmond project lead is not present today. Project lead for Reach City Rights. Thank you, Gabby. Project lead for Trust for Public Land. That is Terrence, and he's on his way. But for now, let's put on the record that he's not present during the roll call. Project lead for UC Berkeley. Thank you, Jason. Project lead for Urban Till. Thank you, Tito. And I'm going to do the roll call for the members of the community. Tomasa Espinosa. Thank you, Tomasa. Juana Hernandez. Thank you, Juana. Montserrat González. Gracias, Montserrat. Judith Rocha. Thank you, Judith. Curtis Rice. Thanks, everyone. Let's record that Groundwork Richmond and Trust for Public Land are not present, but the rest of the committee members are. So if we can go to the next slide, please. Just as a reminder, the information about this meeting is in the screen. So every first Wednesday of the month from 6 to 8 p.m., we meet here in person at the Nevin Community Center. And the address of this location is 598 Nevin Avenue, Richmond, California, 94801. You can also attend virtually through Zoom, and you can also attend through phone, just dialing the numbers that are on the screen and pressing the webinar ID numbers. All community members and members of the public must abide by the community agreements. If you don't know which the community agreements are, we have them online and we have them printed in the meeting. So you're very welcome to take those printed versions and read them if you have any questions in relationship to that. So if we can go to the next slide, please. Sorry, Matthias, that I'm making you stand up. I can stand there if it's better, because I think it. Thank you. So we're gonna do the land acknowledgement, and I usually ask our team members to help us. I'm gonna start this time on the other side of the table. Is that okay with community members? If someone doesn't want to participate, that's totally fine. We can do it, and you can pass the microphone. Thank you.
While Richmond Rising seeks to strengthen the economy, improve public health and the environment, particularly in the Iron Triangle, Santa Fe, and Coronado neighborhoods, we do so with the awareness that we occupy unceded Huichin and Carquin Ohlone territory.
We acknowledge that land theft of indigenous homelands and the dismantling of indigenous sovereignty was done to advance colonization.
¿Lo digo en español? Reconocemos que el capitalismo y la supremacía blanca no son ramas de la colonización que han persistido a lo largo de cientos de años de opresión. Están vivas hoy y contribuyen a impedir que las personas negras, las personas indígenas y las personas demás y todas las demás personas de color prosperen.
We acknowledge that capitalism and white supremacy are the branches of colonization that have. Sorry. We further acknowledge that this country's political economy and social institutions were built on the forced labor of African people on stolen land and through violent systemic abduction from their homelands and enslavement over hundreds of years.
We further acknowledge that the exploitation of immigrant and refugee communities as modern forms of cheap and disposable labor are regularly carried out on stolen land.
Okay. Thus, we acknowledge that we have been impacted and harmed by these histories and experience imposed on our ancestors and communities. We further uplift the shared struggle among Black, Indigenous, and all people of color. Thank you.
We also acknowledge that Indigenous people continue to live here, steward the land, and resist settler colonialism.
We conclude that our land acknowledgement is an active and evolving statement and process. It requires us to recognize historical injustices and invites us to be an active participants in our collective healing.
For folks who haven't been attending these meetings before, we want to let you know that Richmond Rising is the city of Richmond and six local organizations that together are known as Richmond Rising. And together, this group received $35 million to bring health, economic, and environmental benefits to the Iron Triangle, Santa Fe, and Coronado neighborhoods. Richmond Rising is supported by the California Strategic Growth Council Transformative Climate Communities Program. I'm just going to interrupt a second to mention that we now have present one of the project leads for Groundwork Richmond. So let's record that we have one person added to the, two people added to attendance, and also our representative from Trust for Public Land. So thanks for being here. We have full quorum. Thanks everyone. I'm going to continue with the next slide. Just for the people who haven't joined us before, today we're hosting a collaborative stakeholder committee meeting. This meeting provides guidance on project implementation and holds us accountable in reaching our goals. And can make this committee can make recommendations, provide input, and assist project leads in implementing project activities, and does not have final decision-making authority. Project leads must consider recommendations from the committee and members of the public. If we can go to the next slide, please. Sorry about that. And the next one, because that one already passed. Thank you. So for anyone who has any questions or comments that are not on the public that are not on the agenda, please let us know. Para las personas que nos acompañan, este es un espacio donde pueden hacernos preguntas o hacer algún comentario que no esté incluido en los temas que tenemos el día de hoy en la agenda. So please raise your hand if you have any questions or have a public comment that is not connected to the agenda. Por favor, levanten sus manos si tienen alguna pregunta o comentario que no esté contemplado en la agenda del día de hoy.
Gracias. No estoy 100% segura si va a estar en la presentación, pero mi comentario abierto al público como comunidad es, todo este programa que estamos llevando a cabo tiene una edad, es decir, ¿cuál sería la visión para atraer adultos y jóvenes a este programa que se vayan beneficiando? Todavía no logro alcanzar esa visión y me gustaría saber si tenemos algo sobre eso.
Irma is asking if she's trying to figure out what's the vision. Is that how you would say it? What's the vision of this project, and how can we share it with younger and older people? And if we have any updates in relationship to that. Is that correct? Does anyone want to respond to the question? I'm going to do it in Spanish and then I'm going to do it in English. Irma, si se refiere a involucramiento con la comunidad, esa es la pregunta que tenemos, o a qué se refiere cuando habla de visión. Mm. Mm. Okay. Irma is asking, how can we include younger people who, like in the previous meeting, Gabby presented on the Youth Fellows program, but are there other opportunities for older people or adults to participate within the program? And if so, what are those programs and how we can share it with the public? So I think we have a fair amount of programs, starting with lifelong medicals, Irma, which is on your side. But I think I can share with Ambessa the microphone because I know we have other projects.
So the Resilient Homes Project, which is Grid Alternatives and MCE Clean Energy, our project is geared to installing solar on homes, but also inside the homes, having energy efficiency upgrades. And that is really targeted to like homeowners who live in the three neighborhoods specifically. And so for us, in terms of like the outreach that we do, we normally target like pretty much somebody who's going to own a home. And in Grid's experience, like our best client has been somebody who maybe closer to senior age and the like, have had their homes for some time. So it's primarily focused on the family per se, but in our program, who we go after are the adults themselves. Thank you.
Y disculpa el español. En este orden de ideas, que lo que acaba de decir, gracias, thank you. También otro de los comentarios que escuché afuera fue puntualmente el proyecto que traen nuestros compañeros, se habló de que mucha gente no se puede beneficiar hablando de los propietarios y la mayoría de las personas en la zona somos, bueno, no vivo, pero me incluyo, somos renteros, ¿verdad? Y se ha estado hablando de esa inquietud de nada sirve, lo voy a decir con esas palabras, de nada sirve el proyecto tan ambicioso que estamos teniendo si la mayoría de personas no puede beneficiarse. ¿Se ha pensado cómo podríamos ayudar a involucrarlos?
I'm going to translate first for the people who are joining us in the table. So Irma is asking if we have had further follow-up on the conversation about benefiting renters, because she believes that the majority of people who live in the census tracts that we're serving does not necessarily own a property. So we need to think about that. And she was asking how we followed up. And quiero responder la primera parte en español. Sí, tenemos una conversación con el Estado actualmente y estamos tratando de modificar nuestro agreement porque el Estado es muy estructurado en cómo podemos hacer este tipo de cambio de política. Necesitamos su autorización para poderlo hacer y Grid Alternatives es parte de esa conversación. So I was saying that Grid Alternatives is already processing that authorization through the state agreement, and we're looking into how to create other modifications into the program that do not currently do not exist in Grid's options, but we're working on trying to get that for renters too, and multifamily units, which is what I don't think we currently have. Is that correct?
So in this program, we don't have a multi-family program. Grid does have a multi-family program, but it tends to be not business to business per se, but we pursue people who own multiple properties or multifamily properties and the like. What we are also, what my partner in the program is actually looking into is basically finding what protections do renters have. And that's one thing. So for example, if we install upon a home, we have to get permission from the owner. But we want to make sure that we have a protection in there that the owner can't then turn around and tell the renter to leave because now the house is more valuable. So, yeah, thank you.
Ok, cabe destacar que muchas personas no pueden venir, pero son comentarios que he escuchado allá afuera. Y el último que quiero que me quede a mí claro es, entiendo que para el proyecto de BRX, que es donde estamos involucrados, de la capacitación de promotores del cambio de clima, ¿podemos seguir reclutando personas de jóvenes, mediano y alta edad o tenemos algo en particular? Porque por ahí está la confusión y yo principalmente me quiero asegurar de que con esta nueva corte que vamos a tener, todos se sientan parte del programa.
Irma was asking if there's any age restrictions for the BGRX program and particularly the climate health promoters, and the answer is no. We heard from Lifelong Medical that they want to recruit for this cohort younger people, but it's just a strategy to get more a more diverse group. It's not stated by the agreement that we have with the state. Tenemos servicio de interpretación para las personas que necesiten audífonos, lo tenemos en la parte de atrás, está Leti traduciendo en vivo por si alguien necesita audífonos. También para las personas que, for people who are speaking English, if you guys want to get headphones, you can also get headphones. Sorry. Thanks, Matías. Okay, ¿tenemos alguna otra pregunta? Do we have any other questions? Do we have any people online who are raising their hands? Thanks, Embesa. If there's no more questions, I'm going to continue with the meeting. So the next item on the agenda is the approval of the previous meeting minutes. I would like those minutes were sent to you together with the rest of the documents and the agenda. Could we please have a motion for approving this minutes? Thank you, Embesa. Thank you, Curtis. Thank you, Tito. Can we get a vote, please? Grid Alternatives, Groundwater Richmond. Thank you. Rich City Rates, Trust for Public Land, UC Berkeley, Urban Tilth, Tomás Espinosa. That's totally fine. Thank you. Juan Hernández. Gracias. Montserrat González. Thank you. Judith Rocha. Thank you. Curtis Rice. Thank you. So we have all the partners and members of the community except Tomás Espinosa, who is an abstention. Thank you. I'm going to continue with the next item on the agenda, which is the project status report. So I'm going to ask the partners to please help me share your project status report. So I'm going to start with Grantee. I want to let you know that the CSE meeting that was scheduled and is currently happening was coordinated by the staff, city staff. And this includes translation, interpretation, refreshments, and childcare. If anyone wants to bring their kids to the next meetings, childcare is in the entrance of the community center, so you know kids are always welcome to this meeting. For invoices and reports, we submitted invoice number 7. We just received some comments from the state, and we are addressing them with all the comments that we received. We will be sending questions to you, and if you receive some of the questions, we just ask you for your support to get this invoice finalized, and so we can get it approved from the state and receive our reimbursement check. So also for the calendar, for invoice number 8 was sent last week. If you have any questions in relationship to it, please let us know. Since it's going to be a holiday season, we would like to get the information for your invoices as soon as we can. We also submitted our year one annual report, and we heard today from the state that they're going to be providing us input by Friday. So you will be hearing it from us if there's any comments in relationship to the information that the partners provided. We also submitted amendment and modifications to requested for the TA agreement. So that's the agreement that we have for the support that PlaceWorks provides. We also met regularly with all the project partners that are in this table, as well as the Department of Conservation and the Strategic Growth Council. We coordinated with the Strategic Growth Council staff and partners to do a site tour of the projects in the city that happened on November 16. We attended the second Climate Health and Promoters graduation. We presented also the annual report to the City Council on November 19, together with the partners and project managers. And we attended the meeting with the Neighborhood Complete Streets team, as well as Pogo Park and other residents last December the 3rd. So this to analyze all the feedback that we received from all the residents in the project area. And total expenditure to date has been $214,000. Remaining budget is $479,000. Planned work in the next 2 weeks is get approval from the Strategic Growth Council for our progress report and invoice number 7, and also get reviews from the Strategic Growth Council for the annual report. If we can go to the next slide, please, Matthias. And in relationship to the project that I was earlier mentioning, Neighborhood Complete Streets, we held our biweekly coordination meeting between the consultant team and the city staff. And we hosted the Neighborhood Complete Streets Town Hall here in Nevin Community Center on November 16. And that happened from 12 to 2. And we met with residents, Pogo Park, and CSW, who's our consultants, earlier this week to just analyze all the responses that we got from this project. It's been really, really useful for us to be able to adjust the plan. Our total expenditure in this project is $9,000, and our remaining budget is $5.1 million. We are planning in the next 2 weeks to continue working on the project design and coordinate a meeting with residents, Pogo Park, the city, and city staff to review the design the new design that they're coming up based on the conversation that we had with residents. And we are updating our indicator tracking and plan request information that was provided by that was provided to the UC Berkeley team, but we're waiting to hear from them in case there's any feedback. If we can go to the next slide, please. And I am going to share the microphone with Richmond Wellness Trail.
For the Richmond Wellness Trail project, we did a review of the 30% level designs and cost estimate for construction. The design team, PlaceWorks, TPL, and City also reviewed community feedback from the site walk, and we received a summary, or will be receiving a summary from our consultants from that engagement event. We have attendance and participation in the SGC tour of the TCC projects, also attending the Richmond City Council meeting, and also attended the Climate Health Promoters project presentations where we saw the proposed projects. The total expenditures to date are $42,000, and the remaining budget is $4.7 million. And in the next 2 weeks, we are going to continue design work and engagement planning, and also permit coordination work.
Thank you, Terrence.
E-Bike Lending Library, work completed since last meeting, presented our project to TCC and fellow TCC partners, presented the project at the City Council meeting for the Richmond Rising Annual Report. There was some fees paid. It was the planning fees. We recently also heard back from some of the building permits, and we've slowly been getting approvals on them. Total expenditure reported to date $116,775. Remaining budget, 2.3 million. Planned work in the next 2 weeks. We will be assisting in coordination with the 18th Annual MLK Day event on Monday, January 20th of 2025.
Thank you, Gabby. I'm sharing the, oh, I skipped you, sorry.
Thank you so much. So for Resilient Homes, the work completed since last meeting where we participate in the SGC walkthrough in November. We have to date 17 completed projects with 54 in our pipeline. No other new reports since the last meeting. Our total expenditures to date are $334,000 with a remaining budget of $6.6 million. Planned work, well, not exactly within the next 2 weeks, but in January, we are participating in the MLK event as well.
Thank you, Ambassador. Sharing the microphone with Urban Till.
For the Basins of Relations gray water installation projects completed since the last meeting, we are developing and implementing training modules for the water catchment systems in anticipation of 2025 installations. 6 sites have been prepped for installation. 1 drip irrigation system has also been completed. The next installation is scheduled for 12/4. Total expenditures reported to date, 174,000, remaining in the budget, 1.5 million. And planned work in the next 2 weeks is to do water catchment trainings to develop our crew skills, and continued installation of free drip irrigation and laundry to landscape systems for Richmond homeowners.
Passing the microphone to Groundwork Richmond. Thanks, Colin.
Yes, thanks. My name is Colin Martin. I'm the urban forestry manager at Groundwork Richmond. I did want to give a quick update on some of the work that has been completed for us since last meeting. We also participated in the SGC walkthrough in November. We've been continuing to canvass throughout the project area for tree planting. We have an adopt a tree program for anybody who's in the project area who would like to adopt a tree from us. And then also we continued the coordination that for the MLK Day of Service in January. We will also be taking place in that, or taking part in that event. To date, total, we have planted 86 trees in the project area for TCC. Yeah, thanks. And then on top of that, there's also 82 CAL FIRE trees, which are match trees, which aren't coming from the funding of this grant, but are being planted and oftentimes are in the project area as well. So that's like, about 160 total, and we're continuing to scout locations and plant as well. I also wanted to mention that outside of the Adopt a Tree program, we also do non-residential planting projects in partnership with the city. So if you see us outside of people's homes and planting in parks and stuff, there are other projects that we're working on. Most recently, we did the Southside Park Arbor Day project, but we also are working on a project at Lucas Park, and then another one outside of the Stewart Play Lot on Barrett Avenue. And then lastly, at the end of this month, we will be planting on the 1200 block of Bissell. So yeah, we're just to keep you all posted on the non-residential planting projects as well. The total expenditures to date are $102,596, and then the remaining budget is $985,000 and $985,416. Over the next 2 weeks, we will be continuing to send the invoices in the reporting period. We'll continue to canvass throughout the project area for folks who are interested in adopting a tree, and that goes for all of you as well. If you're interested, I have a business card, and if anyone would like a tree, I'll connect with you personally. And then lastly, we're hiring some new crew members in January of 2025. So thank you.
Colin. Passing back the microphone to Urban Till.
And for the ADA accessible garden, work completed since the last meeting. Permitting application has been submitted to the city of Richmond. We also participated in the tour of the TCC projects with SGC that included the future ADA garden site. Total expenditures reported to date, 46,000. Remaining budget is 908,000. Planned work in the next 2 weeks is to pay for the permit if it's approved, fingers crossed. We'd also will be able to have construction cost estimates, and we'd also have a schedule based on those cost estimates. And so we're hoping to get that complete in the next 2 weeks. And for the Orchard for All project, work completed since the last meeting. We've completed our 4th Fruit Tree Lovers newsletter draft. And we've started the implementation of our intake forms to tree care recipients at their homes. That is allowing the team to better inspect the trees at homeowners' houses. Total expenditure is reported to date, 84,000, remaining in the budget about $1 million. Planned work in the next 2 weeks is to begin preparing for the annual fruit tree giveaway in spring of 2025. So we will be distributing another 400 fruit trees at Unity Park Plaza. So be on the lookout for that. We're also updating the list of the trees that we're going to be ordering. So if you have any suggestions on types of trees that you want to see, feel free to reach out to me, contact me. We'll make sure to get that on the list. And we're also preparing for our winter apprentice program. So we're buying all the tools that we need and also making sure that all of our forms and documents are up to date. So this year is a training program for ages younger adults, 18 to 25, to learn about fruit tree maintenance and gleaning and how to redistribute fruit. So yeah, thank you. That's for Orchard for All. And Veggie RX. Completed since the last meeting, we graduated the 2nd cohort of climate health promoters on November 16th. Shout out to the graduates. We finished another 6-week session of the heat classes with lifelong medical on November 27th. We also filled remaining spots for our produce delivery with project area residents. Total expenditures to date has been 397,000. Remaining in the budget is 2.8 million. Planned work in the next 2 weeks is to plan and execute a Veggie RX photo shoot for the 2nd phase of our Veggie RX website. And also continuing to plan and schedule climate-friendly diet workshops and events for 2025. Thank you.
Thank you, Chito. About the e-bike share program, for the people who are not familiar, we have hubs throughout the city. Specifically in the project area, we have 8 hubs that have 75 bikes that are shared with the community and that you can have access to. Right today is our service provider, Salma Berumen, who's in the back, is our project manager. If you have any questions about the operation of the system, you can ask her directly. Today, presented to the ECIA Transportation Committee, which is the committee that provides the funds that Chevron provides to different organizations and the city. They presented to get funding for to continue the operation of the program for a period of around 6 to 8 months. And so this will support the program to be able to operate in the next few months while we figure out if there's any additional funding that they can get from grants or other sources while the program continues to become sustainable through the community's addressing the community's needs and also being paid through the application itself. So the total expenditure of this program up to date, just from the TCC project area, because let's remember that this program operates citywide. However, this is the cost of only the hubs and the maintenance and the operation of the program within the census tracts of the project area. And that's $456,000 that had been spent. And we have a remaining budget of $542,000. And in the next 2 weeks, we would have a monthly meeting with the city staff and today staff to coordinate the work in the next few months. If we can go to the next slide, please. Thank you, Matias. This community engagement plan is shared in between Rich City Rights and the City of Richmond. So I'm going to let Gabby talk about the work that the Youth Fellows program is doing.
For the Youth Fellow Program, I've sent over the finalized onboarding documents to the TCC coordinators for review from the City of Richmond's legal team. I also created 3 different versions of the Youth Fellow Program outreach flyer and submitted it to TCC coordinators for approval and feedback on the designed plan work in the next 2 weeks is to continue reviewing feedback and editing modules and training material for final review and continue recruitment for youth fellows.
Thank you, Gabby. In relationship to the work that Rich City Rights has done, the city has submitted a request for legal opinion to complete the process and be able to launch the project. And on the in relationship to the community engagement, the city will print the flyer so the engagement can be out there, also shared through the city manager's weekly report and other sources of information, including social media. We will also coordinate IDP indicator collection on community engagement. We realized through the collection of indicators that the UC Berkeley team provided us with that there's a fair amount of indicators that require for us to collaborate as a team, particularly talking about websites and social media, because we can only get the city's clicks or access to the websites. However, we need to figure out how are we going to be able to count your websites and your social media accesses through a different way so that we can keep them all logged in the same place. Not all the projects have indicators connected to community engagement necessarily, or this particularly. So we want to be accurate. And for this year, since we were not coordinated, we provided the data that the city has, but we believe that we should actually be adding up the information. So we put this in here because we consider that an important piece of how we keep coordinating in a way that we can add up to the information provided to the community. So if we can go to the next slide, please. Thank you, Matthias. We work on the scope on the city Bay Area Future Housing Fellow Program. So we are getting a fellow who's going to be working on the displacement avoidance projects. And that person is actually planned to start on January 22nd. So, you know, we will have a new member that will be working on displacement avoidance. We continued the review of the ADU toolkit for permitting phase now. And we finalized the contract with 3 different projects that are about to go to city council. That is the small business pilot program and also the events and marketing consultant that we need to hire, as well as the local software platform that will be serving the local businesses. So those 3 projects are in the process of going for approval to City Council, and we are hoping to have them ready by the beginning of next year. If we can go to the next slide, thank you. Oh, sorry, I missed the budget. So we have spent $119,000 on displacement avoidance, and we still have $562,000 left. I'm going to go to the next project, which is Workforce Development and Economic Opportunity Plan. On this work, we share the partnership with Grid Alternatives. So I'm going to let Mbesa talk about the part that Grid has been advancing on.
Thank you, Beatrice. So since the last meeting, Grids Alternatives has had a solar instructor preparation, including attending trainers, shadowing at affiliate offices, gleaning best practices from that, and continued build of our lab space where we would train the people. The city hosted a workforce development planning session with Glenn Price Group Consultants, which we've been a part of. And for the next 2 weeks, work plan the next 2 weeks is Grid Alternatives will continue to build out lab space and share solar training marketing materials with TCC partners for recruitment efforts. I will pass it back to Beatrice for the city portion.
Thank you, Mbesa. So in relationship to the city, as Mbesa mentioned, we hosted a planning session with Glenn Price Group, which is the consultant that is working on the workforce development and economic opportunity plan. We had a conversation with all the partners plus residents who attended the meeting. And this is going to be presented actually on the first week of January. We want to give you an update on what happened in that session. But we are going to have the proper presentation with the group of consultants or our city staff members. We still don't know exactly who's going to be presenting, but that's going to be January. And we also want to let you know that the city will be providing the information for the indicator tracking plan. However, that information will be provided till December 16 because they have a particular system that they need to extract the information from. We know this is one of the last pieces for the ITP collection of information, but we want to just put that out there so you know that this numbers are usually going to take us a little longer to be provided. And city staff will be meeting with Glenn Price Group to finalize the place-based strategy workforce development an economic opportunity plan, and we will be presenting that on January, so everyone knows. And we'll be sharing this with you. You already have read the draft, but we have a newer version that is in the process of being finalized. And I'm gonna pass the microphone to UC Berkeley team for the indicator tracking plan.
Okay, so our group at UC Berkeley has been gathering the year one data from all of you project partners, and I just want to personally thank you all for responding in a timely way with all the indicators that we co-created last year. Some we've updated, you've updated with us, so I want to thank you for that. We still have some outstanding data, as you see here, that we're waiting for, and we know that that's coming, as Beatrice and others have said. This is all part of our drafting our year one indicator kind of evaluation report. Now, that's different than the city's progress report. These are kind of measures quantitatively and qualitatively about progress and impacts and influences that all of you are having, not just in your individual projects, but also on the project area and even on the entire city. So quantitatively, a lot of that includes the CARB, the California Air Resources Board, has models, basically computer simulations, where we put your data in there to estimate how much you've saved the city in terms of greenhouse gas emissions, and also how much you've been able to filter air pollution, particularly NOx, which is nitrous oxide, which is a hazardous air pollutant for our lungs and other development, and particulate matter, the fine particulate matter 2.5. So we can't control what the model does. We just put the inputs in and we get that out. We also developed, as part of this estimate of the influences you all are having on the community and on ultimately environmental health in the community, we had to develop a new baseline of the tree canopy for the project area. And this included City of Richmond data and other groundwork, especially. So this is the location of every tree, the type of tree, all that detail. So we've created a new, what they call tree canopy estimate of how much of the entire project area is covered by trees, and then what those trees do in terms of shading, heat, and greenhouse gas, basically carbon sequestration, absorbing. Sorry, it's technical, but I'm just trying to describe to you what we're doing and why we're doing it. And we're trying to tell the story, your story, of the collective impact of year one, and we'll do that every year. The last thing we're doing as part of this report is, and again, we're required to do this, are two, what they call case studies. These are more in-depth, qualitative storytelling of two projects and the people behind those projects. And you know that this year we selected the Veggie RX and the Universal Garden as our case studies. We're wrapping those up. We may need to reach out to you folks to finalize those. And we're finalizing this draft report, those data, the models, the inputs, and the case studies over the next few weeks. And that's our plan.
Thank you, Jason. We really appreciate the updates. This is giving, this is the last part of the reports. Before we go to the public comments and questions, Are there any questions within the committee related to the report, the status reports that you heard? Anything that you want to clarify? Any follow-up questions? I thought so.
Bueno, mi pregunta es para los que están construyendo la calle, que no me acuerdo quién son. Bueno, la ciudad. Cuando comenzaron con el proyecto, hicieron un estudio, un análisis sobre la calle, sobre los automóviles, los accidentes que pasan ahí. ¿No los podían proporcionar? Gracias. La otra es, ¿podemos ir a la reunión donde van a presentar el proyecto? Ok. Me gustarían los datos. La otra es, ¿qué se necesita para adoptar un árbol? ¿Y quién lo puede adoptar?
Do you want to?
The adopted tree process is, basically you have to be living within the project area. Other than that, we basically get in contact, and then I personally come out to the site and we do a site assessment and take a look at things like, are there overhead wires? Is there enough space for the tree to grow? And there's actually no restriction on whether or not you could have it in the planting strip in front of the sidewalk, in between the sidewalk and the street, or in the backyard or front yard. Sometimes we'll do a soil test depending on what the soil quality is like. We really try to match the right species of tree for the right location. But yeah, those are the main things. Basically, I can forward you the link to sign up, and that goes straight to me, and we can set up a time to meet. Yeah, yeah.
Si ese es para los dueños de propiedad o puede ser para cualquier persona.
I think I got that, but could you translate it?
Yeah. Is it only for property owners or can it also be for renters?
Yeah, it can be for renters as well. Actually, the planting strip in between the sidewalk and the street, from my understanding, is actually city property. So as long as somebody is willing to sign on to care for the tree for the first 3 years, it doesn't matter. From my understanding of the situation, yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna clarify that. It's not city owned. It's responsibility of the property owner to take care of the sidewalk. However, I mean, the planting can be done. That's not a barrier for it. Yeah. I'm gonna respond to the other questions if that's okay, Tomasa. Tomasa asks if if there was research done in relationship to the traffic safety in the project area for neighborhood complete streets. The answer is yes. And she asked if we could share that information with her. We said yes. So if anyone else is interested in this information, we'll try to bring it for our next meeting to share, or send it through email, so that we don't have to print it and create more paper. And the other question that you asked was if you could be part of the meeting where the information, the new project will be presented. That will be a public meeting. So she was asking if we could provide the information. The meeting is not yet scheduled, but as soon as it's scheduled, we will put it out on different social media and announce it. We're not there yet because we're waiting for the consultants to be able to include the information that all the residents provided and incorporate it in their plans and give us a proposal. So before that, we cannot do a meeting because we don't have anything else to present. We had the conversation internally with them to create the space for us to understand what was said by the community. So all the engineering team, all the planning team, all the consultant team would be on the same page with the people who provided the input, if that makes any sense. I knew there was another question, right? Yeah, okay.
My only question is that there's any possibility that they can remove one tree for where I live at? A tree? They can remove a tree or no? Yes.
Do you want to answer that?
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't offer that service, but the city are the people to talk to, the city parks department, and we do have their contact information. If they do remove it and you end up wanting a different species of tree, maybe something smaller, not interfering with the sidewalk, then we'll connect for sure. Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Any other questions from the committee that we have in relationship to reports or any other questions? Any questions from the public in relationship to anything that was presenting on the updates? Preguntas del público para actualizar en relación a la actualización de los proyectos, ¿no? Okay. I'm going to continue. So the next item on the agenda is report. Can we go to the previous one? Previous one. Thank you. Report on public comments and questions. So this we have it in on every agenda is to report in case you heard questions from community members, residents that you think we need to share in this table. I'm asking partners and also committee residents from the committee if you have heard about specific questions. I think, for example, Irma shared with us earlier about the questions that she has heard about renters being able to access some of the programs. Is there any other questions that, are there any other questions that you have heard from community members that you want to share with us? Colin?
I meant to address this earlier because the conversation started with engaging the youth in the projects that we're doing, and I didn't get to highlight this, but I did want to share that Groundwork Richmond does have a green team, and that's for youth in between middle school and high school. And then we have a workforce development program as well. That's a part of our project for transitional age youth. And then after that, we have an urban forestry program, which is mostly folks who are between about 19 to 24. So it's in hopes of training and fostering youth in the green job economy to move up and continue to work with us. And Richmond Youth specifically is who's working for us. So I didn't get to highlight that earlier, but I think that that's a great question. And I'm not sure if we had brought that up in this project before. I'm sure there's other programs that have similar like youth related programs and stuff too, but just wanted to put that out there. If you all know anybody who's interested, we're always hiring people from in any age group to work with us and be involved in the projects and trained.
Thank you, Colin. Are there any other questions that the committee members have heard from the community that you want to share with the rest of the partners or the committee?
Mi sugerencia es que tienen varios programas como para jóvenes y no sé si los llevan a las escuelas, si se los dejan a conocer, porque en cada high school les ponen un muro como para que tengan opciones de qué hacer los muchachos. Pero en el que mi hija iba no lo vi nunca, y tampoco en la otra escuela donde va mi hija actualmente, sus programas o los internships que se tienen no aparecen. Entonces, tal vez si lo pudieran enviar a todas las escuelas en general, sería muy bueno.
What's the age for them? What's the age, the old age? How many, how old they have to be?
Like 16 on the green team. So starting at the age of 16 would be for the green team, which is the youngest for folks in our program specifically. And I'm sure you guys have, you all have other requirements, but up to about 24 or 25. I think that there could be an exception. Yeah, yeah. And I will reach out because we have a community engagement coordinator, and then we also have a workforce development coordinator, and I could ask them specifically too. If you have somebody who's interested, yeah. Yeah, we have a summer program. Yeah, that's our main green team program. And they do a bunch of cool stuff outside of planting trees too. They go like kayaking and go on hikes and stuff. That's awesome.
Thank you, Colin. For the rest of the team, one of the things that Tomasa was mentioning was that if we have direct contact with high schools specifically, because she hasn't seen the programs on both of her kids' schools. So I think the answer is because some of these projects were not existing in coordination before now, and we're about to. But thank you for bringing that up because we actually have a fair that is happening that Gabi brought to us that is going to be the West Contra Costa system. So we're inviting everyone in here to table if you're interested to table at that fair because it's for all high school. Gabi, would you help me with the?
It's hosted by the West Contra Costa School District. It's an education fair where they will be giving out awards, and the high school students in West Contra Costa, as well as some local colleges, are also invited, as well as families to this fair. Other community partners, community members, and organizations will also be able to table and come to this event. I shared Beatrice the link in the form, so I think that that will be sent out soon if you do want to sign up to be able to table and be part of the event. The event is next month in January, I believe is January 20th. It's on a Saturday. But yeah.
Thank you, Gabi. But Tomasa, we're building those relationships with schools, and we're trying to do that. So we'll be updating you. And if you have any particular contact that you think we need to reach out to, we'll be happy to do it. Okay.
Also, I'm from Rich City Rides, and one of the programs that we have a school programs manager that is currently visiting different high schools in the area. So they're promoting a bike and hike club at the school. So I know he's gone to De Anza, El Cerrito High. He's trying to connect to different principals to bring and promote the bike and hike club. He also invited me to come and share more about the Youth Fellow program, and that will also be my opportunity to share with the youth a little bit more about the TCC projects that are currently happening. So we are trying to make that, at least on our end, that connection with some of the principals in the area.
Esos son los que casi nunca tienen, bueno, mis hijos van a la escuela charter school y regularmente a esos no les toca este tipo de información. Y lo puede decir ella, porque vas a El Pies, ¿no? ¿Vas a la escuela El Pies? ¿No? Ah, yo pensé que ibas a El Pies, como conozco al muchacho. Entonces ellos casi nunca reciben ese tipo de información y siempre andamos buscando a los padres qué ponernos. Entonces, por favor, incluyanlas también. Yo te paso el contacto.
Okay. One second. Okay, do we have any other questions with the committee, from the committee? Okay, I'm gonna pass the questions to the public. Do you want to have a question? Okay.
Sí, igual más que pregunta quisiera volver a reafirmar que como el proyecto está limitado a la zona, cuando hagamos este tipo se me fue la palabra. Sí, cuando asistamos a estos eventos para hacer sí, cuando invitamos a las personas a estos eventos o a estos proyectos, que nos aseguremos que tienen claridad de que no es todo Richmond. ¿Qué proyecto sí es todo Richmond y cuándo no es todo Richmond? Porque en estos 8 meses, la confusión más grande es como, por ejemplo, conozco personas que tienen hijos en una charter que está en San Pablo, casi saliendo a Pinol, y que pues no aplican para ningún proyecto de la zona. Son personas que les encantaría, que son involucradas en la comunidad, pero desafortunadamente este proyecto está bien limitado. Entonces, si nosotros lo tenemos claro, pero no lo hacemos ver afuera, vienen todas estas cosas de ¿y por qué yo no? ¿Y dónde se dijo? ¿Y por qué nadie mencionó que sola es los 3 vecindarios, verdad? Entonces, mi invitación es que todos nosotros que lo sabemos, nos aseguremos de decir específicamente quién, cuándo y dónde, y por qué los que no entran no se consideraron. Es un dolor que yo tengo, porque allá afuera la gente me dice, dime a dónde tengo que ir para que me permitan ir a este proyecto. Dime dónde, entonces yo digo, pues en el proyecto literal no tenemos espacio. Yo sé que en la ciudad de San Pablo, por ejemplo, puede haber algo que te ayude, pero es la invitación. Nosotros asegurarnos de que la gente tenga la claridad de dónde es el límite y el foco.
Did everyone in the committee got that, or do you want me to do a translation? Okay. I think that was a great suggestion. Is everyone clear, or have you been doing your outreach, and have you had any issues with clarifying what's the project area? No.
It's not all the time because we create a script that we basically say Coronado, Santa Fe, Iron Triangle. And I think it's just the thing with managing expectations. Many times people would like the program to be extended, but into the different areas, but yeah, so, but for the most part, because we've actually managed our scripting so that it clarifies it.
Thanks for the feedback, Irma. Okay, I'm going to continue with the next item, since we already got input from community members and committee members. So the three items that we have for today, place-based workforce development strategy findings and recommendation presentation. So as I mentioned earlier, we just have an update. The presentation needs to be rescheduled for January. We had a working session in the second week of November. We got input from all the partners in the committee and part of the Richmond Rising team. One of the things that we identified was that we did not include colleges on the conversation of workforce development. And that was something that we figured out. And that's why the report is taking a little longer, because they wanted to do interviews with colleges and include this piece of the workforce development. So for the rest of it, it's pretty much done. And we are just coordinating with city staff that operates our Richmond Builds and Richmond Works part of the project, to make sure that it matches the strategies that we are providing within the strategy and the work plan. And we will present in January. So I'm letting this topic not necessarily, we didn't take it off the agenda because we wanted to provide this information to you, but we are going to do the presentation on the first week of second week of January, because we're meeting on January the 8th, just as a reminder. Then the second part of the items that we have in today's agenda is the Spanish climate health promoters, and we just wanted to give you an overview of the recent program and graduation. And I'm going to ask Irma to help us share some of the information of this graduation. Is that okay, Irma? We have a picture of all the graduates in the program.
Ok. Ya saben que me encanta hablar en español, así que me disculpo. Como lo he venido diciendo, hoy vine como parte de la comunidad porque yo recibí muchos comentarios, varios hallazgos de las personas, y una parte de mi trabajo es escuchar, ayudar, y lo que esté en mí, pues traerlo a la mesa, ¿verdad? Para que todos ellos estén bien. Como pueden ver en la foto, hay personas que se graduaron, otros que se unieron a nosotros para graduarse. Hablo muy rápido. Y lo que quiero decir es que personas que están sentados en el comité, por ejemplo, son graduados de la primera generación. Tenemos a Curtis y tenemos a Judith, que son de la primera generación. Tenemos aquí a Alma, que vino de manera voluntaria, y ella es de la segunda generación. Y son personas que les apasionan, que no tienen que invitarlos, ellos vienen porque les gusta. A mí eso me pone feliz porque significa que estamos haciendo un buen trabajo. Y como dije la primera vez que estuve aquí, agradezco que Richmond Rising haya nacido para poner el granito de arena y hacer la diferencia. Mi sueño más grande es que no nada más se queden 3 vecindarios, que en algún momento lo podamos expandir. Y como decían los de Berkeley, que esos resultados que van a ser favorables, un día yo diga, yo estuve ahí. Que todos ustedes puedan decir, yo también estuve ahí. No estaba tan preparada, pero soy muy buena hablando, ¿ya vieron? Mentira. Entonces, lo único que quiero decir es gracias a todos ustedes por hacer siempre el trabajo que les corresponde. Ahí está Bailey. Bailey es una de nuestras encargadas del proyecto de BayRX. Y bueno, felicitarlos una vez más. Yo estoy muy emocionada de estar aquí. Y bueno, ahí en la foto estoy también, ya me vi. Eso es todo. Lo que quiero agregar es que vamos a comenzar con las otras dos generaciones, para mayo la de inglés y para octubre la de español. Entonces, la invitación que Irma Galloso personalmente les hace a todos ustedes es que cada vez que tengan sus eventos y que vayan a lugares donde puedan extender la invitación para que se unan a nuestro programa, no se olviden de que estamos ahí también. Es parte de nuestro trabajo, pero si trabajamos juntos, vamos a juntar más rápido. Entre las dos generaciones se suman 59 personas activas. Y también cuando escuchaba al compañero hablar de lo de los árboles y todos esos proyectos, donde todos nuestros promotores podrían ser parte y estar colaborando, aprendiendo, sería un buen paso. El siguiente paso para todos ellos que son graduados es de la mano de Ambesa, de la mano del compañero, de la mano de Urbantil, porque todos ustedes tienen información muy buena, pero los 59 promotores están ahí, excepto los que estamos viendo aquí presentes. Entonces, esa es mi invitación y ese es algo que a mí me gustaría ver. Ajá. Que en 5 años seamos 150 promotores haciendo algo, haciendo la diferencia en compañía de todos ustedes que son las bases de Richmond Rising. Creo que eso era todo.
Uh, Did everyone get everything? Do you want a summary? Was it okay? We're okay? Do we have any questions for Irma? I just have a follow-up. I heard May is the next cohort for English, and when's the next cohort for Spanish? October. So, and we're recruiting up to 30 people, is that correct? And, okay. Perfect. And one of the things that Irma was requesting was that the partners who are part of this committee, please be part of the process when they're participating, because we have 59 people who have already graduated and are open to participate in the projects that we're working on. So if you have any projects that you want to engage promoters, climate health promoters, please let us know and let Irma know who's coordinating the group. You meet on Saturdays, right? Once a month, is that correct? When's your next meeting? January? Okay. Do you have a date? Okay. Would you be able to let us know so I can invite the partners to come if they want to join that meeting? Okay, there's a monthly meeting that they have with all the graduated promotores. So if we want to meet with them, or if you have any project that you want to share with them, we can attend that meeting, and it's going to happen in January. Irma would share it with us. Okay, I'm gonna go to the last item on our calendar for today, or on our agenda for today, and it's the CSC resident nominations. We had 3 applications that we received on our last in between our last meeting and this one, and you have a document on your table, hopefully, and if you don't, we'll raise your hand and we'll give you one with the applications. Matthias will pass it on to you. And we also have the community member applicant scorecards, so you can help us evaluate the 3 nominations. In the meantime, I'm going to ask the public, is there anyone in the public who is an applicant to the committee? And if there is an applicant, please raise your hand so we can let you speak. Okay, gracias. Sorry? Oh, okay. Alma, ¿quiere pasar a presentarse? I think we have 2 of the community members who want to be part of the committee. So I'm going to let Alma introduce herself. ¿Quieres hacerlo en español o en inglés?
Buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Alma Guerrero. Y ya había venido anteriormente, pero no pude venir a clases, pero hoy me quiero incorporar en este programa. para saber más sobre lo que se está hablando y aprender también y ayudar a otras personas. Como a mí me ha servido y me han dado información, yo darles a otras personas y tratar de ayudar en lo que se pueda aquí en la comunidad. Eso es lo que yo quiero, integrarme con ustedes y ayudar en el programa con ustedes y a aprender a todo lo que hay que, a todo esto que nos sirve y le sirve a la comunidad y al aire, a todo lo que podamos hacer, como eso de las bicicletas, hay un camioncito que está negro con verde, que solo se pagan $2, que también sirve. Hay muchas cosas que no sabemos, pero tenemos que aprender y sabemos, y tenemos que rascarle a ver dónde nos podemos informar. Entonces, para eso estoy yo aquí, para que me ayuden y para yo también aprender. Gracias.
Gracias, Alma.
So, Almadelia Guerrero was the person who just introduced herself and explained why she wants to join the committee. I want to ask if Manuela Ramirez is in the room, because I think she was here earlier. ¿Está aquí Manuela Ramírez? No. Okay, she's not here anymore. And we have the application of Jim Becker. I don't think he is here, but he submitted his application also in this for the CSE committee. So I'm gonna give you 10 minutes if that's okay, so you guys can review the applications mindfully. And what we ask you for is please use your scorecards to review the applications and what you heard from the presentation of Alma. And please do your evaluation. Just as a reminder, we only have one spot left in the committee, which means we cannot include all the 3 applicants. We need to choose one person. Which means, yeah, if we get any member of the committee quitting or leaving the committee for any reason, we will keep the rest of the applications in the roster, but we can only add one person to the committee. I forgot to mention that the applications are both in English and Spanish. So we have the English version on one side and the Spanish side on the other. Sorry, and the Spanish version on the other side, in case you need translation. if you're done and you want me to pick your evaluation, I'm happy to do it and give it to Matthias. Thank you. Are you done? Oh, do you need a pen? Oh. Are you done? No worries. Gracias, Tomás. I think so. Is anyone missing to submit their evaluation? Are we good? Is everyone done? Okay, fantastic. So Matthias is gonna be just adding up the numbers so we can know who the new committee member would be. In this case, we're gonna be selecting the person with the highest evaluation. Is this something that the committee is okay with? Because we believe that that's the only way to like organize it, because it's going to be hard to vote in a different way. So can we just can we ask for a motion to vote on the highest score for the next committee member to join? Is that okay? Is that a good way? Because we usually have at least one application, and so we can decide if a person joins or not. But in this case, we have three.
I make a motion for us to have this collective counting of the votes for the most efficient process in getting our candidate, the highest score.
So we'll wait for the numbers to come and we will let you know what's the final decision on the committee seat. In the meantime, I want to let you know that today is our last session of the year. So we are very thankful that you are that you're joining us today with the last session, and we are trying to to close the year and also just let you know that we're really appreciative of all the work that we have done together, because it's been a collaboration. It's not been an individual work, and we are really we're really thankful to the community members who have joined us today and who have been joining us throughout the whole year. We want to let you know that this work is not stopping. We're going to continue the work at least for the next 4 years. And we are happy to be in this journey with all of you. We also want to let you know that we got some alcohol-free cider, sparkling wine, because we cannot provide alcohol, but we try to do our best to make it tasty. And we brought some cookies for you. So we are going to do this as soon as we finalize the process for announcements and everything, so you don't leave before we do this. But I just wanted to take this time to make the announcements, so you have some time to get to know some of the residents that are here and some of the project partners. If anyone wants to chat, this is your opportunity. And yeah, thanks so much for being here. So I'm just gonna while Matias continues with the counting, I'm gonna go back to the announcements. And Gabby, maybe you can help us with the information about the 2025 education fair for Contra Costa West County. West, yeah.
Let me find the email really quick. All right. Okay, so the education fair, so it's for the 2025 education fair. It will be in person and it's going to take place on Saturday, January 25th of 2025. The event is from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. The event is an opportunity to connect one-on-one with families throughout West Contra Costa. You will be joined by K through 12 schools, community organizations, and local colleges. The form Beatrice will be sending out, but you have until December 20th to fill out the form. And the form will also include a link with the tabling guidelines. And it would also include the contact information for the point person of the event. Their name is Brielle, and she's the manager of the community leadership for the Go Public Schools advocates. And then, yeah, if you have more information, if you have any more questions, let me know.
Thank you for sharing, Gabby. Is there anyone else from the committee who wants to share any information about any events or anything that is happening in the community?
I'd like to invite everybody to our annual winter solstice event at the farm. It'll be the longest night of the year. It'll be on December 21st. We'll be there from, I believe it's from 6 to 10 p.m. So there'll be live music, potluck style. So bring some food to share. It'll be a good time to celebrate, yeah, the longest night of the year going into the new year. So I invite you all, winter solstice, December 21st, North Richmond Farm.
Thank you, Chito. Do we have anyone else who wants to share any events or any information from the community? No? I'm going to open it to the public. Is there anyone in the public who wants to share any information happening in the community, any events, any other things that you want to share with the group in here? Okay, well, I guess do you want to share anything, Windsor? Okay, well, we're gonna just wait for the numbers, and then, after that, we'll let you know who's the new, committee member, and are we done? Thank you, Matthias. So for Almadelia, we have a total of 284 points. For who is this person? Manuela, 228 points. And for, is this Jim Becker, 34? 314. Okay, so we have Jim Becker as our new committee member from the CSC. So I don't think he is here today, but we'll let him know, and he will have to join us on the January meeting that is happening on January the 8th for everyone to know. So thank you so much for your review and for your evaluation. We really appreciate your support in this process. So last thing before we just open the bottles of non-alcoholic wine, are there any agenda requests for our next meeting? I'm hearing none. So as we already did general announcements and talk about the 2025 Education Fair, we want to wish you a safe and happy holiday season filled with health, love, and connection. And we are adjourned for the meeting, but we invite you to get some dessert and some wine, non-alcoholic wine for the rest of the team. This includes the residents too. If you want a sip of wine, and partners who are joining us, please. Thank you. Have a good night.